All right.
It-
It is. Oh, whoops. No, no. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. What's going on, people? This is the ROONS and MIZZ Arsenal chat. I'm ROONS,
And I'm Miz.
and we come at you because someone's got to do it. Someone's got to try to attempt
I mean,
to explain.
AFT isn't doing it in the way that, like, I mean, they back. I think they must get some different sponsorship stuff because the way that they're. I've been watching a lot of AFT TV lately, and there's one dude on there that's just like, he sees nothing wrong going on at Arsenal at all, and you're like, what? Yeah, like, what?
Yeah, I mean the eternal optimist. But it's well, I mean, they get a lot of flack. Even Ray Parler was like on Talk Sport, was
I
like,
saw that. I saw
"Oh,
that. Yeah,
you just try to get them negative hits, don't you, mate?" And like they really don't. You know,
yeah.
like I trust that they are
Robbie.
true fans. Yeah,
Yeah,
and Robbie's a legend. I think
yeah.
he's
No,
great. And he's
he
fair,
knows
super fair.
he knows the game. So
And I mean, you can't bullshit people who've been watching and who have seen quality and seen what happens. Like you're trying to they try to gaslight fans all the time. It's like it's not being negative to be angry or sad when something that you love gets disrespected.
totally,
That's not being negative. I don't hope that Arsenal gets
it's down.
destroyed. Like
Well,
that doesn't make any sense.
you had any topics today that you wanted to discuss? Because we're coming at you with, there's a lot to unpack. What's going on? We were the talk of the transfer window in general. We spent the most money in the Premier League.
Another slap in the face. And
Yeah.
and you made a comment, we were talking about it earlier this week, that I think might have legs in the fact that there's some shady dealing where this is money laundering.
Yeah.
Tell me how a year after COVID, where they had to fire all of our scouts, they
Yeah,
fired Gunnosaurus, they let
yeah,
go of a bunch of people.
Gunnosaurus. Yeah, they fired the dinosaur. Yeah.
I mean, they let go of people who it could have saved them maybe £2 million or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
that's everyone is on 75 to 100,000 pounds a year. You know, they're letting go of staff and stuff because apparently they're in desperate need of money. They're taking $120 million loans. They're doing all this stuff.
Or what the redundancies they said that they were. And yeah, it's just weird. It's weird. How can we spend this much money after saying that there was £170 million like bank loan due? Yeah.
The loss, and then the bank
Yeah.
loan due, and then all these other things. And then also just where was that last year? We needed Awar and Partey. Like everyone knew we needed Awar and Partey.
Yes.
They would not budge. They basically told Arteta it's one or the other. And because they could do the release clause and they didn't have to negotiate, they just paid the release clause and didn't even call Atletico Madrid, which was fucked up, and got one when we knew we needed both. We needed both, but they're telling us we don't have any money. That's never made any sense. Since we moved to the Emirates, it's never made any sense, but that's what they were saying. Then all of a sudden, we're the highest spenders, the biggest spenders this year. And please tell me what you think about the signings, because I think it's not just, we're not complaining that they don't spend money. We're complaining they don't spend the right amount of money. Like, how did we spend the most and we quibbled over Buendia for what, like 3 million? We didn't want to.
It's strange. And I'm not even down on, like, actually, like, looking at our signings. Like, I'm not angry at them. Like I'd say, like, Zombies looks promising. Totally. I think Ramsdale actually looked really good in the goal the one day that I saw him. I was kind of impressed with how he played. His energy looks right. He could be good. Odegaard on the right day. I mean, he could get better. He's 22. He's just never been the main guy. Maybe giving him the main shout. Tavares looks all right. And Ben White is supposed to get good. So I think they did an all right job. I know it's going to take time. This is where I was like saying, I think before we got on, I was like, I think, I'm coming to this understanding, like, maybe Arteta is not the right person. I just think they're going to back him. Maybe these kids after a little bit can figure it out. I'm just tired of the project. I wish we had some like interjection of some like top players like Aubameyang and them are not carrying it. Maybe they'll start to a little bit more. They're getting a lot of flack. Like if you watch the transfer window day close there, everybody, they were the main talk on the Sky Sports about what was going on in the window. And they want to do better. I know that they're all those players like have capacity. It's whether they're going to be able to transcend that onto the field at some point or not. And if Arteta's not the right guy, we better get the right guy soon, because we're facing a season of depression and just really like it's gonna be brutal. I mean, I'm excited to watch the Premier League actually. Like, I don't know about you, but like Ronaldo's back in the Premier League at Manchester United. I think that's fascinating. Like I'm gonna watch some of their games. Why not? That's gonna be interesting. City is gonna be coming. Tottenham kept Harry Kane. Liverpool's gonna be good. Like it's gonna be a good season. So I think for the Premier League purposes, I'm interested. Arsenal reasons, like we better start doing something. The City game, it wasn't even worth to watch at all.
No, it was 4 a.m. here in
Yeah.
in the United States Pacific Standard Time. I didn't attempt to get up. I've been burned so many times before waking up at 4 a.m. to watch them give away games. I remember the FA Cup. We're the FA Cup holders last year. There was a 4 o'clock game against Southampton. We lose that game, played absolutely shitty, played a team that just, why is it that you see the starting lineup and every week it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, I mean yeah, like I saw a lineup today that was like, obviously that was like the lineup that it should be. It was like Leno, Tierney, Ben White, Gabriel, Tavares on the right, Sambi, Partey, and then the front that we would like. He is like, however you want to put Odegaard or Emile Smith-Rowe, whichever one of them in, Saka, Pepe, Aubameyang, and or switch that front three out. There's just so many he has quite a few options now of like better players, and still Jack is in the fray, and I mean Jack better be getting some flack for what he did against City. He just full on again does a tackle that
35th minute. I mean,
yeah.
And they were
he
saying
just decided. I saw
a red card. It's not a red card, but wasn't he on a yellow? And it was definitely a yellow. So like,
it was certainly a red.
No matter what, dude.
It was certainly a red. Even he lunges with both feet. That's like an automatic red card.
Ground,
he just
2 feet.
Someone I read a tweet from it might have been it was a former professional, and it was like Xhaka just decided he didn't want to play in that game anymore at that point, and was like, I'm just going to get off the field.
He does that all the time because
he's a coward.
Well, he doesn't want to be there. He's feeling a lot of negativity, so it's on the manager and it's on his people, Arsenal's people, to say, you know what, it's become the point where you no longer want to be here. The fans are against you. Let's find a way.
He signed a contract extension.
Legendary coach really wants you. That's a great way to get a fresh start, confidence boost. We let you go. We can say goodbye and thank you for your service, and everything will be great. But we turned down 3 offers again over what? They wanted 18 and we said no, 22 or something, 23. What is that going to really do? You just spent 30 million on a keeper who he looked fine against West Brom, but also so did Matt Ryan, looked great last year, and he was on a free transfer.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
So you chose to spend 30 million and then you're quibbling over a couple million, and then you have this dude who is exiting the game on his own volition because he doesn't want to be there. So he's getting a red card, and we're playing City with 10 men for the majority of the game. Like
captain.
And somehow he's captain, but also, I don't know if you saw, I don't know what game it was. I think it was Chelsea, where Aubameyang came on. He started as the captain. Aubameyang came on and he took his armband off, ran over to Aubameyang and gave it to him. And I was like, what the fuck is this? You get off, you hand off the armband, but you don't start as a captain stay on the field and then relinquish your captain band to someone else?
Right. Yeah.
And if so, if you're giving it to someone else, why didn't fucking Aubameyang start then? It's just like the things I'm seeing, I'm like, oh my God. That's
I
just
wonder what's
just
gonna I wonder what's gonna happen now, because like we're coming back from international break. There's gonna be like Jack is out. There's gonna be kind of a refresh of the squad. We should have Partey back. We should have a few people back that we didn't have, like Ben White should be back from COVID. So, and Gabriel should be fit. It'll just be interesting to see what they do in the next like couple games. Like how they line up, how much time he has. Like
I mean, there's
I
been,
mean, even
no
under his
him being
even under yeah, but I think even under his own, like I think that he's safe in a lot of ways, but I also think that that's in some capacity, if it continues like I think he has the backing. Like I think they're willing to give him a chance. Even like Roy Keane the other day on Sky Sports was like, you got to give him a chance. Like he's like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So he was saying this. He was saying you got to give him a chance, saying that Ole had a lot more time and was like it took him a couple of years. I don't think Arteta's the right person at this point, but in that kind of view, they would be giving him a little bit of space. But if he loses like 3 more games in the next like 5 games, I think he might be sacked.
Well, it's sad because we both liked, well, we kind of grew to like Arteta. I was skeptical at first. And then when he first came in, it seemed like they were trying this pressing style that they looked way more dynamic. And I was like, okay, this might work. And then we won the FA Cup. So it was like, okay, I believe that if we get a proper preseason and a window, we'll be good. And then looking at this preseason and window, first of all, again, I like all last season, I was like, the players aren't fit enough. They didn't get enough time to really get physically fit,
Yeah.
So they have a whole window. You have players who didn't go to the Euros. And dude, I'm seeing Holding, Mari, and Cedric like flat out hands on their knees, like in the 35th minute, like going like tongue hanging out. I saw Cedric. I thought he was injured because he was like,
they're just not that fit. I don't know. You can tell that I don't know what they do in their training sessions. I don't know. They're doing something wrong. They're doing something wrong in general that like it obviously isn't connecting. And I don't know how long he's going to have a job for.
Well, there's decisions that he's made in the transfer window that are beguiling. And then there's this team selection has been consistently like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? I mean,
yeah.
How are you going to?
It doesn't take that much to like understand that that's probably not the right team a lot of the time. Like he like really, he gets it wrong a lot, which I agree with.
How do you put Lokonga on the bench? You know what I mean? And then
so far, he's been a really good player so far.
Like he has a way of finding the shining light and benching.
Yeah.
Like Lacazette often is like, well, at least Laka played well. And then the next game he's benched. And now we're not talking about him as if, there's this commitment to only a one striker. And that means that Lacazette will never play. And the dude has been absolutely wasted. And he misses one chance when he comes on. And people are like, see, he sucks. We should sell him.
Hopefully they use him. Hopefully they use him.
Scorer last season.
I think the one benefit that we have had is there's been quite a few outs that we were hoping for. Like Bellerin is finally gone. And that somehow I think we should that one was great. And I think El Neni is actually going to Besiktas because they still have till September 8th on their window. And I saw that Kolasinac and someone else is leaving too. There was another one. And Willian actually, class act by Willian though.
Tore up the contract.
Was like his statement was, someone said that it was all about money for me, so I don't want the money. So that's fair. So like, I mean, I think he probably felt like he didn't deserve that money because he was terrible.
Yeah, it
didn't click for him.
It have been that bad, really.
Yeah, he was maybe he had something personal going on, or who knows.
Well, the thing is, the weird thing that I don't understand is like players like him, maybe he didn't have any clue of what he was supposed to do. But then last season, he was getting nods over Martinelli. He was flat out chosen over Martinelli and chosen often over Pepe. Pepe would be on the bench. The first sub they'd make, put in Willian, and you're
well,
like,
I mean, they signed him. I mean, they made it seem like he was like a big money signing essentially. So they really just have no idea what they're doing. I think it's just a shot in the dark for them. Until Kroenke is gone, which we always say we are a laughing stock of the Premier League at this point.
Oh, well, almost not even a laughing stock anymore. We are pitied.
Feel bad. Yeah.
Almost everyone except for Tottenham who's finally loving it. But like Roy Keane is talking nicely about us, dude. That's peak.
A lot of people were even saying like they just on Sky Sports in the transfer window, people were like, we need a healthy Arsenal team for the Premier League. Like we're one of the bigger clubs in the world. We have the second most fans or third most fans now in the Premier League, like that show up each week. And we have a large fan base around the world. Like the team needs to do better.
Yeah.
I think I don't know how you can get the Kroenkes out essentially. Like I saw something about a Qatari billionaire going like 3 billion after it, which that can't be much better. But if they're going to spend money, maybe it will, who knows? Yeah. At least PSG like spend money and go for things they're
totally. I mean, like just from the top, the messages are so mixed that it contaminates everything down to team selection. I don't know.
How did they get this approved this year to spend that much money? I don't like, where was it just finally like we've been needing to spend this much money every year for the last 5 years to keep up with the teams that are like Man City spent 100 million this season on Jack Grealish. We spent 150 million or something on 6 players. So like that's how far off we are. We had to catch up even just buying basis players to fill spots that like we hope we're going to grow into something. I mean, we have
money. It's a waste of money.
Yeah. I mean, we've always had kids and we've always had people like coming through the program. We've invested in the youth, but like we do need they needed a war. Why didn't we buy a 27-year-old attacking midfielder that's proven, that's solid? That's like what we needed.
Well, I mean,
and it almost happened again at the end of the season, the end of the window. They didn't fucking do it.
Yeah. I mean, we needed to buy Basuma from Brighton. Instead, we get Ben White. And all I've seen of Ben White for Arsenal is against Brentford. When number one rule in defense, you don't let the ball bounce, right?
Yeah.
If you let the ball bounce in the 6-yard box, it went over his head, and another guy came and headed it into the goal.
I hope that he's as good as what people say, though, because I've seen videos and maybe he needs, I don't know, first game. I think that they got a lot of work to do in general, like on the training pitch. I don't know what is going on there. I try to watch every now and again on YouTube. I'll sit there and watch like the training sessions, and
it gives you nothing really. I mean,
it doesn't. You don't know what's going on. The Amazon thing is going to be really insightful. And I saw an interview today that Odegaard hates it. That he's like, it's super invasive. They're there filming like all the time, and like it's even gonna. I don't know. So I think this is going to be an interesting, like.
I mean, even Odegaard too. Like, okay, you have a 21-year-old. You make him your number 10. You say, you're our guy. You're going to be our center midfield. Then you go and buy Odegaard, who's 22 years old and was the Norwegian wonder boy in your same position. What is that telling ESR? You know, is there any formation you can think of where they both play at the same time?
No.
Because if they play at the same time, that means Saka or Pepe has to sit out. And Laka's already sitting out. Martinelli.
And then you don't have Aubameyang. I know it is like a selection dilemma now a little bit, because you want both ESR and Odegaard to kind of blossom at the same time, but they're in the same role. But one's a number 10 and one's a number 8. And they're wearing
one out wide.
So is Odegaard
their strength. Then one other winger has to sit out, you know?
And you got to get Xhaka in the team because even with COVID and red cards, he's still got to fit into the team.
Well, I mean, that's the frustrating thing is because we're looking at a situation where I don't know how to put our best players on the same team at the same time because there's too many players in the same position. But in none of the formations do you include Xhaka and El Neni, and Xhaka starts and plays all the time. And then the first person to come off the bench is El Neni, and you're just thinking like, how did Tonga not come in? Like, oh, I feel like Arteta sometimes is like, you are a right back. If I sub you, I can only ever put someone in there who is a right back. And since all we have available is Cedric, then I'm going to have to put in Cedric. And if that means Lokonga and Lacazette and Martinelli and Pepe and all these ballers are on the bench, then he's like, well, that's all I can do. And then we lose and we get exposed down that side. And then we're looking and we don't score any goals. And you're kind of like, yeah, because fucking Cedric and El Neni and Xhaka are in there. And Lokonga and Pepe and Martinelli are on the bench. And Lacazette, who's our top scorer last season, is being talked about as if he's like Shamak or something.
Yeah, I will say it's a good problem to have though with having multiple players that can fill in spots. It's just finding the balance of it. And you know, other teams have to do it. Like we need them to be performing and no one's performing. Like, I mean, what we've seen so far in the Premier League has been way below par, way below poor. I mean, they've conceded
because
they've conceded a bunch of goals.
Well, who would you say has played well this first season?
Sambi Lokonga was the only player I've seen that I've seen.
He didn't play in the third game.
Yeah.
Or did he come on? I don't know.
I didn't watch all that game. I think he came on later in the highlights. I saw that first goal go in the first. I was like, you know, it was early where I was 6:30 where I was, and I watched part of it, and it got scored on like 5 minutes. I was like, all right, I'm going back to sleep. Like this is not worth my time.
Gundogan beating Chambers for a header, beating our
in the 6-yard box.
And Gundogan is like fucking 5'7", dude.
No, I mean that goal was sick, but I thought the same thing. I was like, how is Chambers and Holding there, and they lost a ball in the air to Gundogan? That's like
the dude had just so much time to cross it too. Just like looking up, and you can see that like because you know the City players are almost like on edge because they know like how hard it is to be playing for City. Like you go for a training session with Pep, there's no bullshit, you know. So they're always ready to go, and you could see them physically relax and be like, oh. Like we don't even have to go that hard anymore. You know, it's like
it was like a training session for them. Like it was from what I saw, they were just. I mean, Rodri scored a goal that he passed it in from 25 yards.
And like I mean,
with people in front of him, like
where's Xhaka ever scoring that goal? Like he used to score like a random left-footed rip, but like.
He scored like 5 goals in his whole career at Arsenal, and a few of them have been bangers. And he's just been I'd say if you were to Google the stats of how many shots he's taken, he skies the ball way over the goal, way more.
Just doesn't produce stats. He's not like I mean, watching N'Golo Kante, the dude gets the ball, and then when he gets the ball, when he wins the ball and breaks up the other team's counterattack, you can trust him to then start the offense.
My only mental video that I can just replay of Conte in my mind in general is him falling but tackling at the same time, like not falling, but he'll like go around players, steal the ball around them, come out with it somehow, and then beat another player and distribute the ball well. He is just the quintessential center defensive midfielder. And he like Xhaka has none of that ability. And like it.
And you look at Rodri, you look at the other players that play, or Fernandinho, and even looking at City's formation where we play a 4-2-3-1, which it's dead food.
Yeah.
The two defending center mids are basically like gone, City plays a 4-1-2-3. So you have Gundogan and another one who are
floating,
but good with the ball and can start offense.
Yeah.
They're
that formation makes sense.
Yeah. And then you have Rodri, who ended up scoring a fucking goal. And he was playing like essentially what used to be called a stopper,
Oh, dude, I bet you Ederson was almost having shots on target the other day against Arsenal. Like they were probably so high that
Ederson was chilling in the box with the ball.
At one point, one of the statistics, there was like what you ever on Twitter, there's like the funny humor parody ones, and it posted the stat like last 5 minutes of that game, they pulled the thing 97% possession for Man City in a 5-minute period at one point. Like that means in a 5-minute period, Arsenal probably touched the ball one time.
Yeah.
Like
it means it's not a matchup. It means it's
no.
Not,
yeah.
This is not the same level. It's not, it's like if we pulled a team of our friends and tried to play Arsenal, the real team.
Yeah. Well, we might do all right against this Arsenal team.
We don't play.
They're
purposefully play against our strengths. You know what I mean? And we never, even all last season, we talked about too. We never established a starting 11. If you have a starting 11 and then you have two players who play the same position, even if they're both good enough to start, then like you said, it's a good problem, because if ESR is absolutely gassed, then on comes Odegaard, who's fresh, and you're like, oh crap.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that dude's gonna come through. That we used to have 11, that.
And sometimes it's, sometimes he'll have to play on the right so that Odegaard can play this, and then sometimes they both don't play, and sometimes this player plays, and as soon as someone starts to get momentum, they change the formation around. It's like no one knows. You can see out there that no one knows what they're doing. I mean, the defense has no clue, and also the defense we had played 5 defenders, and 4 of them were all players that we could have gotten rid of 4 years ago. No. Chambers is still here. Starting.
And then hold on, Niles was trying to leave, asked to leave. We bought a right back on transfer deadline day. The Japanese guy, Tomiyasu.
Yeah.
Tomiyasu, is that like the school in Vegas?
Go there, or your mom worked there, right?
Yeah, my mom was the principal there.
We should get her a
Tomiyasu. We should. That'd be fun. That'd be funny, actually. But no, so there. Yeah, I mean, we bought a right back, or a guy that plays center back and right back. Not even like a designated right back. Like you couldn't pick one right back in all of Europe that's playing somewhere in Europe that isn't in Champions League or Europa League. That's not going to be upset. That is good enough. Besides someone we just never heard of. It's just weird. We get these players that we just never heard of. Like, I mean, apparently he might be good, but what does that say to Cedric, Chambers, Niles, all these guys that, like, I guess Niles had talks with Arteta the other day and like cleared the air. But what it was like, if you don't shut your mouth, like
he posted something on Instagram.
I saw it. Yeah.
Go. If you're not going to play me, let me go. And then they put him on the under 20. They demoted him to the under 23s. And then, but I mean, the dude is right. And sometimes you see him come on. Like I personally think we should have sold him to Wolves. I don't think there's something missing in his game where he's the kind of player that you sell. You brought him up from the academy, cost you nothing. You sell him, you make a tidy profit. He'll go on and have a great career at Wolves, and you did something well for the guy. He's for me missing some element, but then you see him come on and play, and he looks like he can get the ball and move around, and you're like, so why is he not starting instead of fucking Cedric, dude? Like Cedric looks like he does not want to be there, dude. There was a time even I think I can't remember which game it was or if it was last season, but they were like called Cedric to get up and play, and he got up and was like, "Oh fuck!" And he was in his full warm up suit, and he's like pulling his, it's like, and you're like, and this guy gets to start over Ainsley, man. Just like, come on, man. What
Yeah,
is what's the decision making there? Not to mention we gave him a 4-year deal, which we hand out 4-year deals like they're freaking Happy Meals, dude.
I saw something today that Lacazette turned down an extension. Like, but like, what extent? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you were trying to sell him a week ago.
Yeah, seriously too. And what's this thing? Like, oh, we tried to sell you, it didn't work. So our answer is to give you 4 years extension.
Yeah.
1 year.
It's they're making the weirdest decisions. And I really just think it comes down to the full top of the organization. Josh Kroenke's like in charge, and they truly have like no idea what they're doing.
I would love to get some sort of reason, no matter how stupid, for why you're about to sell someone and then you sign them to a 4-year deal. Or even, I'm glad Lacazette turned it down, because that's an insult almost. And even with Ainsley Maitland-Niles too, it's like you won't let me go, and then you don't fucking play me, and you're playing these fucking tossers in front of me. You're playing Kolasinac, who is bound to rip up his contract. He's starting and playing. He's on the field, no matter if it's the same position or not. He is on the field in front of Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
Yeah, and I mean, Kolasinac, like, let's be real, like, this is terrible.
Well, the dude himself doesn't. He's like, he's surprised. That's the thing too, and I think Xhaka too, for the last couple years, has been like, well, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to pull a Tevez and be like, no, I'm not going on the pitch. But like, you can tell he's kind of like, really?
Yeah.
Really? I'm the captain. Like, okay. Like, really?
It doesn't even know he's playing soccer.
No, I mean.
So it's inevitable that it's going to happen, that we're going to have a new manager at some point. I think it will probably be this season. Either way, like, I can't see Arteta finishing the season, right? I mean, right? Like,
even after this start, we're 20.
So who would you want? Who would you want as a manager, and who is actually like realistic? Who would you want to try to take whatever this group of players is? Because I don't think our ownership is going to change right now. I think that's going to take some undoing. So like, kind of stuck with this like system for now. Yeah. So who would actually take the job, and who would actually we would want? I don't know yet. I haven't really posed in the question.
Who would I want? Conte. Is it going to happen? No. Why Conte? Solely for the fact that I can't imagine him walking into that locker room and picking the likes of Xhaka and Chambers and Holding. You know what I mean? I bet he would go there and just scare the absolute shit out of all those players who are embarrassing themselves, and you wouldn't stand for it. And you'd see something. It's just, we're back to square one, where we need just a change of mentality first before we can even start talking about tactics or formations. We need players to get their head out of their ass and stop embarrassing themselves on the field, like fucking putting your hands on your knees and tongue hanging out, and, like getting beat in the air by 5'7" midfielders, just. So I think he would come in and instill the right attitude. But I mean, he turned down Tottenham, and Tottenham seemed like a much more serious club in terms of paying for things and saying, like, we want this person. Oh, how much do they cost? Okay, we'll pay it. We'll do it, And Conte didn't think that they were serious enough. So is he going to come to Arsenal? Absolutely not. So yes, it would be nice. Conte, not going to happen. I saw Pirlo was in London, and there's rumors. I mean, Pirlo.
I think that's a bad decision. He did terrible at his other job.
He's another one of these former players of the same generation who have turned coaches and gotten big jobs way too soon. He's a
legend. He's a legend as a player.
Yeah, it doesn't translate. You
Yeah.
can't jump right into the main team. You know, they had won 9 Serie A's, and then he came and they barely qualified for Champions League. And he had Ronaldo and he had, everyone else. So no, I don't think that would do anything, to be honest. He doesn't speak English. What, we're way better. We would have been way better with Unai Emery.
So who could we get? Because I'm struggling to find like a solution to who they would even look at. But we also, they probably have someone in the Middle East that they're looking at in the Qatari league or the Saudi league that's like, coaching in like the third division there. That is probably a new prospect for them to like bring up as a manager. Because that's something we would do. Or like, I mean, we who would we get right now realistically? Like Brendan Rodgers isn't going to leave Leicester.
No. Like why would you,
Yeah. I mean, I would have loved Nuno Sanchez.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been I think he's a great manager.
I mean, that was the move to make.
Yeah.
Tottenham made that. How many times have we seen like, here's the clear right choice, and then we hesitate or don't do it or quibble over a meaningless amount of money, and then some other club is like, you know what, that is a good idea. We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
It happens so many times every year that you just get numb to it, you get used to it, but it doesn't make it okay. And it doesn't explain why we let it happen. It's almost like we self-sabotage these deals on purpose, like.
I just wonder what we're going to do next, because it does leave us like, if we stick with Arteta and if we continue down this road, it either obviously has to get better or it can get worse. So like if it continually gets worse, I mean, there's no separating us. Like we have a lot of new players this season. They outed a lot of players. We have 6 players that you could say they could potentially be 4 of them in the starting lineup, right? That's a pretty big change to the team overall.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't gel, like we could easily find ourselves in the bottom of the table, like where we're at right now. Like right now, we're starting with a deficit. We're
negative 9 goals. We starting out with 9 points and plus 9.
We scored 6 at Everton that one year on the first day of the season.
Yeah. So
we're like I mean, that's a first game. Usually you try to go out and beat the dick off the other team in the first game, like, because like you're trying to set the mark. Yeah.
And you got to put your nose out in front. It's it's a front running league. Like
it is. You don't want to be from behind.
Horses, it happens every once in a while, but that's not really the best way of trying to go about it.
Man City did it last year from 12th. But they won every game. They won every game for like 4 months. And they were always capable. Yeah, they were always capable. They had COVID issues in the beginning. So like
they peaked at the right time. They did everything they had to do. They had a lot to do, and they did it. And that's the second time they've done it to win the league.
You know what's weird? I think that there's like something very weird that just goes on with like the Kroenke and the whole situation. Like very mafia-esque almost. Because like the Daniel Ek offer and stuff, it made news, but it didn't make like major news. Like they bid $2 billion on them. When that Qatari group was trying to buy Newcastle, it was on Sky every day for like months and months. And like, it was like a big deal. Like they were trying to buy the club. And I don't know if they're just being a little more private about it or like what they're doing, but like, it almost feels like Daniel Ek approached them and they were like, no, fuck off and don't ever contact us again or we'll fucking kill you or something. Because like it just seems to have vanished. The whole thing seems to have just dissipated. Like you had Bergkamp, Henry, and Vieira all positioning to try to help Daniel Ek buy Arsenal.
Yeah.
And it just like
and $2 billion in escrow essentially
from someone that owns a really large tech company,
which that had the perfect fit
totally
for a sponsorship deal for everything.
there's something just very bizarre and weird going on there, which I'm very surprised in that they're letting everybody film it, especially right now.
I know. It's also, it shows the complete lack of awareness when you're in your worst period, maybe ever. Honestly, maybe
Yeah.
ever. Because the start to our season hasn't been this bad since 1954. So like,
Yes, it's
we're
60
literally
something years or something.
yeah, we're breaking negative records almost every game. And now's not the time to say, let's have a reality TV show come in and film every single aspect of what we're doing. Who
Telling you,
does?
it's
Who
so
fucking
similar.
does
It's so
that?
similar to the Trump organization overall. Like we had this like front row thing. Like the parallels are uncanny to me. I can't see any other way of. I feel like they're doing what they did with our government a little, and they're grafting themselves something that they have no right to. Like the Cronkies are enriching themselves with Arsenal's popularity, and doing something odd there financially. I mean, I think the transfer window is weird in general in some way. I think some of the ones, especially the ones that we do, don't make sense. Like our business model doesn't add up right.
Yeah.
Like they like I thought that they were about balancing the books.
I know what
Like,
happened to years of self-sustaining model.
yeah,
Then
where
all of
did
a
the
sudden
money
you get
that I
150 million, 50 million on a right back when, or 50 million on a center back when you've already paid for one who is legitimately good. This
yeah.
whole William Saliba thing is this is a mystery that needs to be solved. And fucking Guendouzi scored a goal the other day. You know, we sold him for 10 mil. At one point we were talking about selling him for 50, 60 because he was a wonder kid. You know what I mean? Like the
Well, they
mystery.
botched that. I mean, he wasn't the solution at our team at all. I like, but they should have offloaded him or never bought him.
Well, the thing
Their
too is
scout
like,
recruitment now is just off. Remember, we used to get players. When we used to get players at Arsenal, like Nasri, like Arshavin, all these players, even in that era, at least they still performed. At least they were good, and they turned into something. It was pretty rare for one of them not to blossom into something better. And now it's more likely that they will leave for free at Arsenal or have no value at the club, and you have to loan them. Like they couldn't even sell Hector Bellerin. Like the guy wanted to leave and you couldn't even sell him because nobody wants to pay for him.
yeah.
So like, and this is the story of Arsenal. Like, I mean, William ripped up his contract.
Yeah, because no one was going to take him off our hands. No one was going to
Exactly.
pay a fee for him. And like Bellerin, last year there were talks at PSG. You know, so I don't know if those are true. It seems ridiculous, but
And Inter Milan.
like how many times are you going to say no? You think it's going to, after another season of playing like crap, that they're going to just like Real Madrid is just going to still want to scoop you up and Barcelona still going to want to pay
Right.
30, 40 million for Bellerin? Like,
I mean, Bellerin had to go on loan to Real Betis.
yeah, and watch, he'll disappear. Watch. For me, I feel like he's checked out. Like he doesn't like soccer anymore.
No, he's like into fashion and stuff, which is fine. If you are like, if that was your avenue to get out of the game, like get out, like
money, he's done his, done his thing or whatever, but like, and like he had no right to really complain because he hadn't had a good game that I'd seen since before he broke his ACL. He'd score the random goal, just like Xhaka. I mean, these players will be terrible, and then randomly they'll score a goal, and people are like, "See," as if one goal is
indicative of your career and how you perform week in and week out. I don't get that. I hate when Xhaka it makes me so mad that he had a good game against France in the Euros. And people even like soccer friends here were like, "Oh, Xhaka's like he played so well," and I was like, "Dude, you watched one game of Xhaka play.
Really, what
like,
did he do though? Like
he did, yeah, it wasn't magical."
Yeah, did he score 2 goals? Did he pull a Ozil and like get like 3 awesome assists and a goal or something like that? Like, no, he didn't give up a goal. He didn't get a red card, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, he's really good.
There's deep issues though. I mean, especially not that we're any surprise, but like Ozil tweeted the other day after one of the losses was like, trust the process, and was but it's like what other clubs are getting their old former players like digging at them online and stuff. Like we've really come to this like we've really just come to this place though as like a entity, as like we're fans, and there's like big issues there. It's not, and it's a global thing. People are well aware. It's not just like a fringe. People are talking about it on punditry all the time. They're like, what's wrong at Arsenal? What's going on there?
Other team fans of other clubs are just as confused.
Yeah.
It's not like we're just being negative and saying like, I want Arsenal to poorly. It gets to the point where sometimes you want them to do poorly just to prove that we're not crazy.
Yeah, that there's something like totally, and that you want change. I want the change. I would, if they got to get relegated right now, fine, whatever. Like it might be necessary at this juncture. Like they're very poor. Unless they really turn a new leaf on whatever, I'm going to be very shocked if Arteta turns this around soon, because I just don't see it. I don't see the leadership from him on even the sideline anymore. Like at first, it seemed like, I don't know, Odegaard came off the other day. I mean, I don't know. I always like try to pay attention to mannerisms and personalities and like what kind of relationship. He didn't go shake his hand after.
Yeah, and he has got that
like I always like
with the stopwatch, and they're always talking to each other.
Like in general, the play and Odegaard played good. Like it was in the game against that we won. Like he had dope assist. Like
I mean,
go give him a high five when he's coming up.
Yeah, against West Brom, he looked like he was like,
yeah, like dude, like
he was just like,
it's maybe he doesn't have any relationship management skills or something. And he just like people don't like him. Don't like him.
Remember what we were saying when he first came? Is like, I think they really like him. He seems like
so too,
a good manager. Like, but what happens is when you pick the wrong team.
Yeah, he lost the dressing room.
Yeah, when people get frustrated, like, dude, if I go out there and I'm kicking someone's ass, like at anyone's work, you're a sales job. You're going out there and you're crushing it. And then they're like, we're going to give the sales award and the bonus to this guy. And you're like, well, I know for a fact I sold more than that guy. And like, we're going to give it to this guy. What would that do to you as a salesperson? You're like,
right.
I don't care anymore. It's really hard to make a sale. You just showed me that my work doesn't mean anything. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
We have a way of doing that.
It's especially in soccer. I mean, it's like, we've all been a part of teams, and if you don't play for a bit and if you're getting benched and someone else isn't playing great, like you do get angry.
Yeah.
You're like, let me have a chance. And then when I could only imagine how frustrating it is to be on Arsenal and see Granit Xhaka do something week in and week out like he does.
To be some of the forwards, being like, he's not going to pass me the ball. He's not going to get the ball. I'm never going to get a service out in front of me to run on to facing the goal where I can have a shot. I'm never.
I mean, they might have to just change him in general. I know that they like want to stick with him. They might just have to change him to get some fresh blood in there and a new idea. Like, I mean, I actually don't think the group of players that we have right now is terrible. I think that there is some talent there. I think that there's a workable team.
If it's not Sambi and Partey as the midfield, always, I'm fuming.
Yeah, no, it's funny that he's played that well so far. I agree. I think he's really good.
Yeah, he's been but I mean,
he's been a bright, like his movement. You can tell he didn't have anyone really around him in a lot of ways, like Partey found himself sometimes.
No,
But you
can
can
we put
tell
him
that
on the same field
he's a good
so
football
that
player.
they have each other at least? Because Partey
Yeah.
got hung out to dry all last season, where it's like, okay, I can only be like kind of silky for so long. I need someone to pass it to. I need, or else the defenders are going to just rip them apart. And then eventually then they're going to make some mistakes, and then it just snowballs. And all of a sudden then they're thought of as not being good players anymore. These players that were once, damn, he's awesome, to now like, oh, he's garbage, get him out of here. And it's like, that wasn't all his fault,
Yep.
like the
Oh
first,
yeah. I mean, in parts I had like an unfortunate like where he's he's not he didn't have anyone around him last year. Had some injuries. Hopefully they can keep it together right now. Like I don't know. They need to do some work coming up. They got a couple weeks right now. What, another week? And we have Norwich, who's near us in the league.
I mean, are you confident though that they can do what needs to be done? Like, how many times do we have to see something, like identify the glaring issues, hopefully know that we have a solution or at least an alternative to replace a player or change a formation or do something different, and then they just go with the same thing, or they change it, but then they also change what was working too. So then now that you've given this guy a chance, you put him in the wrong place so that he's not going to do well. And then you're going to be like, well, see, I put him in and he didn't do anything. Like, he has Martinelli in there running around, getting no service. It's like, you didn't play him last year. Now you play him. And isolated. You're just ruining it,
Yeah. I think we need a manager change. I just don't know who.
And the fact that there hasn't even been any links or anything like.
Well, Conte, they were talking about Conte. I did see that one.
Yeah, I don't buy it. Maybe it'll happen, but
yeah, I can't see that one happen.
Maybe this has happened to Arteta though as well. He's like in one of these players we brought in, focused, energy, inspiration, making good moves, and then something happens where he knows like, I'm not going to get what I need, and then he starts going off the rails. You take these people with promise and then they slowly kind of fade away. And that's definitely happened to Arteta, because look at his start.
Yeah, no, he was good at first, and like we both got on his side at one point.
Yeah, it seemed like, okay, he's putting together a patchy squad, but if we get some signings, fill in the gaps, I would love to see what he would do.
Yeah.
And then what he did was like, why did you do that? And we didn't get the signings we needed. And now we're getting random signings. Like, how are you the biggest spender in the market and you made a panic buy on the last day of the window?
Yeah.
Like, how are you getting 6 players and 3 of them came in after we're in our fourth game? Why don't you just wait until January?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be ready on day 1. First day of school, you got to be there. If you show up a week later and you're like, oh, I still need to get my backpack. And you're like, well, class started, you're behind, homework was due. You have an F right now.
Well, we
have an F minus in the league. We are getting an F minus. We are failing the class, meaning
and we
get relegated.
We have a tough little schedule too. I wanted to look who we have coming up, because we got Norwich next, and they're like around us. Well, everybody's ahead of us right now, so every game is going to be tough. Then we have Burnley. Those are 2 hard games usually. We got Wimbledon in the Carabao Cup. Tottenham.
At least we get some sort of draw in these league cups, though, dude. Like,
right, yeah.
Surprised we're not playing fucking Leicester.
City.
We're gonna play City in the League Cup, it.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Then we have Tottenham. Then we got Brighton. and Palace and Villa and Leicester and
None of those
Watford
games.
and Liverpool. I literally everyone that I look at now is like, oh, we're gonna lose all those games.
I mean, we're at a point when Emery got sacked where it seemed like he gave up and everyone was giving up, where I was like, I don't see us winning a game right now. You know, like I don't know where it's going to come from. And we're already at that 3 games in where I'm like, what's gonna,
Do they give it? You think they give him 10?
This better? We need to do that better. Like we need to do everything better. We need to be a whole different team.
You think that he has 10 games though? Like I think 10 games is what he'll get.
I've heard 5 games. He got 38 games. He's on 41 games, or from last season to this season. I mean, have you seen his record too? He loses 1 out of every 3 games.
Yeah.
Like, he's had 60 Premier League games and lost 20. Like Arsene Wenger got to like 160 games before he had lost 20. Like you can't lose every 3rd game in the league.
No.
You can't. And that's assuming that you're gonna tie sometimes too. I don't know, man. It's fucking dismal.
Maybe they'll pull together. Like one part of me like has like some hope that they'll figure it out.
Against West Brom, and like
that worked.
Abba and Pepe, even that one goal that got called back because it was out, that Abba passed to him and he fizzed it in, and you're like, it's possible. Apparently West Brom played like their junior team or something like that. So like it's a bad comparison, but you see what's capable. I mean, Lacazette, his first touch, he fucking ripped it into the goal.
Yeah. I mean, Aubameyang had a nice hat trick in general.
He got a hat trick, scored that.
That soccer goal was sick.
Like, he can do it. The soccer goal was sick. He got an assist from Odegaard. Like, it's possible.
Those 2 played well together in there. I mean, that's the thing is I know it looks bleak in general, and I it's the eternal optimist in me, I guess. But like I'm hopeful that they'll kind of figure something out here.
No,
but I don't think they're going to.
We have to start by, first of all, holding Chambers, Kolasinac, Xhaka, El Neni, Cedric cannot play. They cannot play. Minimum, they cannot start.
I just wish that the main team would be healthy. If he could put the best players in, the actual core group of best players is actually pretty good.
Well, I mean, just yet another year where half of our signings can't play because they're immediately injured.
Or too young, or they're one for the future. Like, why do we got to keep getting ones for the future? What about the now?
Yeah. They talked to Tuchel before the Arsenal game. They're like, Lukaku, he just got here, but you have him starting. And he's like, he laughed and he's like, he's been training in Italy and we bought him to play, not to sit on the bench.
Yeah.
What do we do?
He's been training too.
Like, he was, just in a couple weeks, we'll start, putting you in. And it's like the season started. He's been training with Real Madrid all summer. Yeah. What's the problem? Why isn't he starting?
Right. No, I
already played with the team.
Dude, it's the same. It's the same thing with how we do things. Like, look, Manchester United re-signed Cristiano Ronaldo, which, as a soccer fan in general, that's amazing. Like, I used to kind of hate Ronaldo, and then I just started following like who he is as like a person. And dude, he's such a supreme athlete. So it's amazing to like
Real Madrid, dude. He had 312 goals for Real Madrid and scored like 321 goals.
It's unbelievable. Yesterday, he broke the record for the most goals ever scored for Portugal. Like, he is continually doing things. Like, he's going to ball at Manchester United. You just know, like, I don't care if he's coming from Italy. He is in still peak physical condition. I think at Manchester United, we have a real problem on our hands in the Premier League because Cristiano Ronaldo is probably going to do some things in the league that they weren't going to do before.
Can you imagine him winning a header over Holding Chambers
Yeah, no,
last
dude,
match? Ben
I
White,
know,
even,
I know that they're no one's really saying it, and there was some people giving Cristiano Ronaldo like a hard time for that move. I think him going to Manchester United kind of makes them a little bit contenders in some way. He is a winner. He will carry that group of players in games.
or like if
You could trust him.
yeah, if you're Greenwood or if you're Rashford or if you're McTominay or any one of
Yeah,
the Shaw or literally anyone on the team, you're training with Cristiano Ronaldo. You do not want to look like a fucking jackass. You do not want to
absolutely.
piss him off.
And
You don't want to
if
look
you're
stupid
starting
in
ahead
front
of
of
it, if
him.
you're starting ahead of him, they gave him the number 7 shirt. He is playing in the team. Like they signed Cristiano Ronaldo to play. You better believe that he will be there trying to win games in the Premier League.
Yeah, and that's going to raise the level of the people around him.
Absolutely. And
Because
so like
that's that pressure. The healthy pressure of a good team is when you're like, I have to do well. I have to
yeah,
be at the best. I have to play better than what I thought I could play.
we have nothing like that.
We have Johnny as our captain.
We have Jacket. Yeah.
Like if you're Emil Smith Rowe or Saka, how are you? And everyone is being like, you guys are the best players on the team. It must be embarrassing, because you're like, hey, Xhaka, you're older than me, you're the captain, and everyone says you suck, and I know I'm better than you. Like, I'm gonna, sorry, you're a nice guy in real life. Weird, it's
Yeah.
just weird. It's kind of weird, but you know, it's
Yeah.
it's literally
It's
the opposite effect as if you see Cristiano and you're like, oh shit, dude, like this dude has won 5 Champions Leagues, 5 Ballon d'Or. Like he'll be pissed if I fucking don't pass him the ball, or if I pass it to him too slow, or if I pass it to him in the wrong place, he's gonna get pissed. So I'm gonna be on point. I'm gonna show him something that's fucking awesome.
yeah. No, I mean, and that's the thing is I this league is going to be interesting. I am happy. I think that the transfer window that we just had was maybe the best transfer window, not just for Arsenal, but for the game. I mean, look what happened in this window. I have to go in just a few minutes, but like what happened in this the window was interesting. Messi went from Barcelona to PSG. Real Madrid got turned down on a bid for 189 million pounds for Mbappe. Ronaldo made a move in the same window that Messi made a move. We had how many players did things? Griezmann went back to Atletico. I mean, like Sergio Ramos is playing at PSG with Messi. I mean, Jadon Sancho went to Manchester United. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
last year
Grealish
you
went.
been like, what?
Dude, I mean, we had some wild transfers just going like the Kane saga. I feel bad for Harry Kane a little bit, but like,
But he seems like he's like, well, I'll go next year.
He's a professional. You got to give that to Kane.
Yeah.
I think Kane will still show up and ball like out of his mind at Tottenham this year. They'll still probably be
He's
up
like
there
Messi.
because
Like Messi was like disgruntled at Barcelona for the past couple of years, still got 20 and 20.
because they're too good for themselves, that they're doing it not for anybody else. They're doing it for them.
Yeah,
That's why. And
they're gonna play well because that's all they know how
who
to
they are. Yep. So that's they created this habit of a monster inside themselves that we just don't have. We don't have that at Arsenal right now. We don't have anybody that is gonna like perform on the worst days in the best manner. Like we have a group of players right now that needs to really find who they are.
Yeah, find their identity.
Yeah. So, well, I'm back around next week. If you're around, we should do it again. We're gonna talk. We have Norwich coming up, I think next Saturday or something.
No league games or anything until then.
No, it's the World Cup qualifiers, right now.
Yeah. So hopefully they take a rest and they'll probably play Chelsea and Man City behind closed doors in a scrimmage.
Yeah, which we played Brentford today in a friendly, which is like, what the hell?
very odd. I'm gonna have to look that up.
It's on Arsenal's website. I was just as shocked when I saw it. It was like 4-0 to Brentford. We won 4-0 against Brentford at the training facility in London, and we lost to them in the first game 2-0 in the real game. So like, what was that? What, like, I don't understand.
It's like you realize that one counts and one doesn't, right?
And you realize also, like, if we would have lost that closed door friendly, that would have looked extremely dumb. It looks dumb that we won it. So I can't imagine what it would have been like the optic wise. Yeah. You know, why did you play them again?
The optics of Arsenal is as bad as everything else. See, it's like it's 360 degrees. The whole organization does things. Like I saw the video, they posted a highlights video of losing 5-0 to Man City. You don't have to do that. But they did, and they were showing different angles of the City goals and stuff. And I'm like,
yeah, I know. I saw. I know.
What ESPN?
I know it's like no other team posts like a loss. No, you literally should post like, yeah, exactly. I don't know. But I think my point earlier that I missed about Ronaldo, when like they signed Ronaldo, and as that day was shaping up, they didn't wait to announce it. Like it was clear as day as what was happening.
Yeah.
And like, what is the big, it's not like we all don't know. Like everybody has like some idea of what's going on now. Yeah. Like people have phones that take video that post to the internet. When somebody gets out at the airport, they know that they landed. Yeah. It's so dumb. It's like, come on, guys. Like you're a day late and $1 short every time. Like
40 million pounds plus $1 short.
That we should have known right there.
I know something was
that was the moment. I think that it started to get like, what is happening? You're like, you went for Suarez, Luis fucking Suarez, and like you're gonna even insult the player by only bidding £1 over. If I were him, I would have been like, piss off, mate.
Yeah, fuck off.
You're not even gonna give me 5 million more for
someone told me he had a release clause, but turns out he doesn't. Oops.
You didn't think to check?
It's a big oops. It's huge oops.
You didn't think to find out for real?
Well, they were hoping to do it without even contacting the player, apparently.
Yeah, that's what they did with Partey. They don't
because that's how you get the best out of players, you know.
But now
go behind their back and make them move to a different city and uproot their entire family and
exactly. And they're not instilling confidence in teams and players by doing this. Their business model is poor. Like nobody wants to do business with us. Like, look, we can't get anyone to buy any of our players. We can't get anyone to buy our cheap players that we're trying to give away. Like I saw something they were trying to sell Nketiah for 10 million.
That's a
10 million.
He's the top goal scorer of all time in the England U21s.
10 million. He's 20 years old.
He scored 10 goals 2 seasons ago.
It's just some of the decisions and some of the like things are criminal. Like, I mean, I don't know the laws in England, although like outright about like business law or whatever is going on, but there's something's fishy.
Like literally criminal.
Yeah. No, seriously. I think there's like some serious like money laundering, fraud.
Yeah.
Like it can't be normal. Yeah. It is weird. And Kroenke buying
soft, mate.
Yeah.
I saw he was voted the most hated man in St. Louis.
I love that.
Like,
did you see my fantasy? Did you see my fantasy team name?
Yeah, I hope you win the entire league.
I know. That's what I was hoping. If I win Kroenke out FC. What were you gonna say about St. Louis? You have a friend that in Denver.
Oh no, my cousin lives in Denver and he owns the Nuggets. And
they
despise him. Like there's multiple cities where people hate this guy.
Well, dude, he owns the Avalanche, he owns the Rapids, he owns the Nuggets, the LA Rams.
Which he's being
took him out of St. Louis. Yeah, he's being sued.
That's gonna bite him. because
Yeah,
the
700.
judge,
He's gonna lose it.
yeah,
It sounds like
he's gonna need
700 million.
at a certain point.
Dude, I hope that they piss off out of our realm because it is outrageous what it is criminal what they're doing to the club in general. So in my opinion, like they really are just like taking the piss and in general over it.
Definitely.
Well,
All right, mate. So next week we'll see if there's any headlines to talk
and
about.
maybe we can talk about formation or how they should line up, which won't happen. So
See who's available and make some dreams.
all
True.
right.
All right, man. Good
Thanks for
talking.
joining.